What if I told you that from now on you're going to be able to maximize every single second of every next practice that you'll have in your water polo career? And that is what we're going to be speaking about today. One of the ways to really maximize your potential in the practices is to prepare your body before you actually jump in the pool. Because there is a lot of work before you actually start swimming, passing, shooting, and all other things in the pool. So, first and the most important thing that you need to understand is that your body needs to be ready for the practice. What does it mean? You remember sometimes during the first quarter or the first 2 minutes of the game that you have really high heart rate and that you're becoming really, really tired and the game has just started. And then after you break that wall, you feel like you're able to play two games in a row. So what's happening there is that you didn't warm up properly because you should actually break that wall in the warm up even before you jump in the pool. So to put it in simple words, before every practice, you should break the wall, increase your heart rate to at least 16 to 18, which is 160 and 180 on 1 minute. This is regarding the physical part. Regarding the mental part, you should prepare at least 2 hours before the practice starts, and you should start thinking what you're going to be doing in the practice. So, we're going to start firstly with the mental preparation, and I'm going to have some very basic and specific things that I want to point out. So, the first one is set an intention. So even before you go in the car, decide what you will focus on for this practice and visualize how successfully you are doing that. So see yourself that you're executing those drills with confidence, and this will really clear your mind and help you leave a school or any of the personal things behind the practice. So before you actually go to the practice, you're supposed to already know what you're going to be working on, and you need to visualize yourself doing it properly. And in this way, this is going to help you that you are not focusing on too many things at a time, and that you are actually doing the things that you are supposed to improve. The next part will be nutrition. So first and the most basic rule: never eat 1 hour before the practice. Any kind of food. 1 hour before the practice is simply not enough for our body to process that. And instead of you trying to digest the food, you're supposed to focus on actually doing the practice, and you cannot do both things at the same time. You will feel way heavier, and it's going to be way harder to execute in the practice. You're supposed to hydrate consistently throughout the day, and also don't really chug water right before jumping in. It's going to make you feel very heavy. Ideally, you should eat some light carbs and protein 2 hours before practice. Something like banana, toast, yogurt, and similar things to this. So, really, really focus on this because you are not able to play, not even at your 60-70% if you eat less than an hour before the practice. And just simply make this as a rule. There is no exceptions to this. Then the next one is that you are supposed to come to the practice 15 minutes earlier. Of course, I understand that a lot of players are not driving, and it's hard to manage with all the traffic, but that really should be the rule that you're aiming for. But also, if you arrive 10 minutes earlier, it's not the end of the world. You're still going to be able to warm up properly if you follow some of the rules that I'm going to be speaking about now. So first of all, you're supposed to prepare your shoulders And we have these band exercises in the school, which you're supposed to do before every single practice. It's not just that it's going to make your shoulders stronger, that you're going to have better shot. It's also that it's going to protect your shoulders from getting injured. So if you get injured one time, second time, and then even third time, if it's a minor injury, if it's three times, it's going to become a major injury, and it's going to have a you're going to make a long break from the sport. It's going to be hard to come back, and also obviously you're going to have some health issues with that. And it's all easy to avoid with just 5 minutes of the band exercise. So you're supposed to do 5 minutes band exercise before every single practice. And this needs to be consistent without the exception as well. The next thing, other 5 minutes, you're supposed to use to do cardio. And it's not going to be super long or super hard cardio, but you should increase your heartbeat at least to uh, 16 or 160 for 1 minute, just so your body is getting ready to get in the pool and get tired. And in this way, you're going to avoid that tiredness that arrives at the start of the game or at the start of the practice that starts out of nowhere, and it's going to really move you in the mood that you are ready to get the maximum from the practice. And the point of this one is also to break through the sweat, because also if you're in the water you're sweating, but when we're outside, if you break that wall, we sweat a little bit while we're outside. Our body realizes what is coming up, and then when you do 5 minutes of the band exercise, 5 minutes of the cardio, is going to be perfect. You're going to be in a perfect situation that your body is able to take all the tiredness that will be coming. The next part that will be is a mindset switch. So you are supposed to enter competitive mode. The point of this is that you're trying to forget about school, forget about any other distractions that you have. You're supposed to be able to focus completely just on the practice that is coming up. Because if you are in the pool and you're thinking about your homework, you're really not executing well in the pool, and you're not doing anything about your homework because you're currently in the pool. So my advice is, when you're in the pool, be completely in the pool. When you're doing homework, do just do your homework, and that focus is going to be the key in executing well in the practice, because you are not able to do a multitasking between the pool and other activity at the same time. So when you come to the practice, just focus on what you're doing in the pool. After you go out of the pool, before you come to the pool, you can do the things that are other parts of your life. But when you're in the pool, you should be really focusing just on that. So if you really want to succeed in water polo, preparation starts before coach's whistle. Set your focus, fuel your body, and really lock in mentally to the practice. The best players in this sport aren't just physically ready, they are mentally ahead before the game even begins. And this is the way that you're going to be able to succeed in this sport. And what is the key here? Again, consistency. If you are applying those techniques on every other practice, or if you're applying it for a certain amount of time, it's not going to work. What we're trying to do here is to make a proper plan and follow it consistently every single day until the end of our water polo career. Thank you for your attention.